Welcome, everyone, to the October edition of Syncro Release webinar. I'm joined today by some familiar faces, both Kristen and Andy, as well as a new face for many of you, Krishna Tamburino. Krishna joined Syncro and is leading our backup product line, so he'll be here to talk some about that today. We have a lot to share with you, a lot of great content to get through, a couple live demos. As always, we will leave time for questions at the end. Please feel free to use that Q&A module as opposed to the chat. Makes it a whole lot easier for us to make sure we get your questions answered. So once again, the little Q&A is a great place to ask your questions. We'll do our very, very best to answer as many as we can. And then, as always, we'll continue the conversation in our community for anyone who does not have an opportunity to get their questions answered here. So with that, let me kick it off and talk about a few things that got released over the past month since we last spoke. So I want to start by talking about Syncro Cloud Backup. Pretty excited to have a new product line to announce to back up your M365 data, your Entra ID infrastructure. As we were building this and walking down the path, I heard from a lot of folks that they really wanted a solution that we provided to do this. There's a huge need out there, and to have something that was just really simple, really powerful, kind of set it and forget it with predictable pricing. And so really excited to launch it. There are already actually thousands of end users being backed up on this solution, and it's only been generally available for a short while. So I'm pretty much going to hand it over to Krishna, the new backup product leader, and he's going to walk us through kind of what this is, what folks have been asking for, and how it creates new opportunities. So with that, let me hand it over to Krishna.
Thank you, Dee. And hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. Yeah, let me get started. So what is Syncro Cloud Backup? Well, it starts off with Microsoft 365 protection. So we're covering your traditional workloads of mailboxes, OneDrives, contacts, calendars, Teams chat data, team private channel data, and Teams files, as well as your SharePoint, your planner, notes, OneNote, and a variety of other different touch points, as well as your Entra ID data, which I think is really special for Syncro. So we normally think about just protecting user data, but what happens to your tenant, right? What happens to the structure and security of the tenant with your Entra ID data in case there's a data loss event? You don't just want to get all your data back, but you want to get the structure, you want to get your conditional access policies back, your user list. And we back all of that data up. So not only do you get it back, but you get it back very quickly so you can get back to normal very fast. Backups happen twice a day automatically, and we give you the option to just trigger an on-demand backup whenever you want. Let's say there's an important email that just came in on a mailbox or some files that just need to get backed up immediately. You have that option from the product. The granular restore allows you to restore at the file level, the folder level, the mailbox level. You can do a cross mailbox restore and put a different folder in a different mailbox if you need to. We also provide point in time. So however you need to get the data back, we're going to give you that option. And last but not least, it's unlimited storage. We don't nickel and dime you on how much data you're backing up. We realize that you want clear pricing that allows you to just kind of throw everything onto backup and then just know that it's going to be there. We offer 4 locations right now: the US, Canada, UK, and Australia. And we've heard people who want more EU options, and we will be releasing that in the future. But for now, these are the 4 that we're bringing to market. We do have a fair use policy, which requires 80% of the users on the tenant to be backed up. And I'll talk a little bit about what those kinds of users are in a slide or two. So why Syncro? There are a lot of other competitors out there who are offering cloud backup, and we are now coming to market. So why consider us? Why switch to us? Well, if you're with Syncro already, you know that we are constantly listening to customer feedback, and we're trying to basically build a one-stop shop for all of your MSP needs inside of our product. And cloud backup continues to deliver on that promise. We want to give you a unified platform that you just come and you handle all of your business for all of your customers in one spot. We want to provide broad coverage, so it's a product that you trust. And it's also a product that you can bill for easily, because cloud backup is a pass-through cost, right? You're going to end up billing your end users for it. So we've integrated into our universal billing. If you're already using invoices to bill your customer, you can just add it as a simple line item that's very clear and easy to understand for the customer, so you can pass that cost along. And then again, with unlimited storage and transparent pricing, It's a cost that you get. It's not going to surprise you. It's not going to change very quickly based on usage. And actually, let me go to the next slide and I'll tell you what that cost is. So it's $1.90 per user per month. And what do we mean by per user? During our early access, we got a lot of feedback on which users customers expected to be billed for, and we actually made a change to align tightly with that. So following the Microsoft licensing structure, we only bill for users that have Microsoft licenses, whether they are internal, external, or shared mailboxes. If they have a license, those are the ones that we will be billing for. So your unlicensed shared mailboxes, internal or external users that don't have a Microsoft license, we don't charge for. If you have a user that has been backed up for a year and had a license for that year, we charge you to back it up while they are licensed. And if they leave the company and you remove that license, we don't charge you for it anymore. We keep that, we preserve that data for you for free. And we don't charge you for your SharePoint usage or any of those like individual one-off things. It's just the per user per month cost. So with that, let me give you a quick and live demo. So forgive me if we have any hiccups. Do my best to be graceful. So here we are in the product. I wanted to start off by covering kind of where the product lives and like how you can access it in case you're not familiar with it. So I'm on my organization page and I'm going to click on my Syncro tenant. And once that opens up, I will see the new Cloud Backup widget. So here's where you can kick off the trial. If you want to start a trial with us, we offer a 14-day free trial for you to use. Also, something about the trial, which is really great, that at the end of the trial, we don't we don't start charging you for it. Backup just turns off. So you don't have to worry like, oh, you have a lot going on. If you start a trial, you don't have to be afraid that you're going to start getting billed for something that you're not expecting. We just disable backup. And then if you don't want to use it anymore, you can delete all of your data out. That's fine. Or you can start a subscription. So it's really a no risk trial. But yeah, you can access it from here to start your to trial, or you can also go to the App Center and click on the Syncro Cloud Backup card. And here we kind of give a little explanation about everything that we back up and what we do. And then you would just go ahead and click here to start your trial and start those 14 days. So I'm going to jump over to a tenant where I've already started my trial and I'm going to enable backup for it. So clicking on enable, the first step is picking your storage region. And like I said, we offer these four. Once you pick this region, it doesn't change because this is where we start putting your data and that data storage is immutable. We're not going to delete it. You can't delete it unless you disable backup for everything. So nobody can go and touch that data, which is why it's really important to get this right when you start. So once you click on that, we take you over to Microsoft because we need to install the Microsoft application to be able to grant ourselves access to the tenant to back up everything. And we do have a lot of permissions because we are backing up a lot of data. So once I accept, I'm brought back to the page where now I get to choose what it is I want to back up. And we give you two options right now. You can either back up all the users on the tenant, or you can choose to back up users by the different Entra ID groups that are available there. Today, I'm just going to back up all of my Microsoft users. I'm also going to leave this checked so that every new user that gets added to the tenant automatically gets back up, a real set it and forget it feature so that coverage is always there. And then I have a list of everything that I can back up, and you can choose to turn off certain things. But like I said, because of the per user pricing, why wouldn't you want to get all the coverage that you can get on your tenant? I'm going to review the terms, which mentions our fair use policy here, and you can learn more about how users are counted from that article. And I will go ahead and enable backup. Now, uh, once I start the backup, I see that my items are not backed up and that they will the backup begins immediately on the back end. A lot of people ask how long is the first backup going to take? And the answer is it depends on how much data we're backing up. Because we try to scour the tenant and pull in everything that's possible. But it's usually not more than a day. Again, it depends on a case-by-case basis. So since this is a tenant that I've already backed up, my data is showing here. So I'll go ahead and jump into my email deletion and restore scenario. So let's jump over to one of my users on the tenant. Here I have 5 emails that are very important to me. And let's say this is February and I deleted all of these emails because I just rolled off this project. I don't need it anymore. And I want to really make sure they're all gone. So I go into my deleted items and I delete all of them. Uh-huh. And then some of you experts out there know that there's a second place where emails go. So I'm going to delete all of them to make sure they're really, really, really gone. But yeah, I'm doing a purge. I'm cleaning up my email. Let's say several months goes by. It's now October, and I realize I need all of those email back. If you're familiar with Microsoft's policy, after 31 days, you can't get your emails back. They're gone. And we've just deleted it from both areas. So there literally is no way to get it back. There's no tricks here. I need to get that data back. How am I going to get those emails back? Well, it's really simple. I would go in to the product. I'd open up the tenant that I'm backing up for. I'd click on the restore button. And while this is loading, let me just kind of show you a couple items here on the list. So on this manage button, you have a few different options. You can, with backup settings, you can change anything that you're backing up. If you ever want to back up more data, less data, or change the groups that you're managing, you can do that here. These 4 items take you to different aspects of the portal, the user list, which is all the users that are being backed up. The audit log tracks everything that happens on the tenant. Any user interaction with the portal is being tracked in the log. The task manager keeps track of any ongoing backups that you've triggered or any restores that you triggered, so you can keep an eye on the progress in case you have a customer that's worried about getting their data back. And then any alerts that are related to your backup are right here. The last but not least is if you ever want to disable backup, you just click this, and then we will schedule your data for permanent deletion. Let me jump back over to our portal. So just real quickly, here's our overall dashboard where we see everything that is being backed up, all of the data, all of the items. I'm going to go into mail because I want to restore some mail for Alex. Let's go to Alex's mailbox. Oh, and here are Alex's 5 emails that I needed to restore. So let's click these 5 emails and restore the selected messages. Now I'll point out, like I mentioned earlier, that you can restore the entire mailbox if you want to, or just a specific folder. I could also trigger a backup on Alex's mailbox if I wanted to do that. But let's restore these selected emails. I want to restore them back to Alex directly, not somewhere else, but I could restore them to a different mailbox if I wanted to. Let's go ahead and hit restore. And then I'm going to jump back over. My restore is initiated successfully. I'm going to jump back over to the mailbox and I'm going to start hitting refresh because I like to watch the magic happen as the restore works. There's my first one. And there's my second. I'm very impatient, so I hit refresh a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I have one more and then it'll make 5. And there are all 5 of my emails. They've just all come back. So it's that quick, that simple. I get all of my email back just the way I wanted it. I will jump over into policies just to highlight our Entra ID data. So here, conditional access policies, I'm sure you're very familiar with it. They can take a lot of time to set up and to really dial in and make sure you have the right level of control at the tenant level. And I will open up this very super important conditional policy. I'm also going to open up and look at the policy information. See, I have my policy ID, and this is when I created it, modified it. So we keep track of it over time. If you make many modifications, we back up each version of it so you can restore to a specific version if you want to do that. Let's go into the Entra ID data and check out to see what we can restore. Actually, before I do that, let's go ahead and delete it. Delete this policy. Cool, and let's check. All right, let's hit refresh to make sure it's deleted. Okay, my policy is gone. All right, I'm going to go into my Entra ID data. I'm going to see all of the Entra ID data that I'm backing up here: users group, roles, BitLocker recovery keys, your devices, and here are my policies. It says there are 10, and there are, because this is I've been deleting a lot of policies and restoring them, so we've been tracking all of them here. So here I'll see my super important conditional policy with my, this is the ID that I just deleted from. It was most recently modified on 10.7. Great, I'm going to hit this one to restore. I also have the option to restore, to pick its policy state. So if I want it to be enabled, immediately disabled, even if I want to send it to another tenant. So all of your Entra ID data can be restored to a different tenant if you want to migrate some of those policies over to a new tenant. Going to hit restore. And actually, let me jump in here and show the task manager because I haven't called that out yet. So here are the 2 restores that I kicked off. The mail restore that I did for Alex Wilbur and the Entra ID restore for that policy. And we tracked them right here. I go back and I look at like a month's worth of data, you can see that we keep track of all the restore activities, and you can monitor some of your longer restores here to make sure your customer knows that the restore is working and the data is being put back. So let me go back to my policy, hit refresh. And there it is. Awesome. Um, I like to do a little audience involvement here. So I'm going to try this out and see if this works, where I'm going to ask in the audience for somebody to like, tell me what you had for dinner last night. If anybody wants to like put it into the chat right now, because I want to prove that this is a completely real test that we're about to do here. So tell me what you had for dinner in the chat.
First one I
Chicken
see.
sandwich.
Oh, you got it. Yep.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to put chicken, vegetable biryani. Uh, oh, all right, cool. I don't think I spelled that correctly, but it's fine. The misspelling adds to it. So I haven't, this is from a different email account. I'm going to send this email to Alex.
Krishna,
Oh,
you might want to
sorry.
make sure it's in the subject.
Yes, I forgot. Thank you. Thank you. All right, and let's send that. All right, so let's go over to Alex. There is my chicken vegetable biryani email. All right, so let's go into the product and let's go back to Microsoft 365 data. And what I want to show here is just the on-demand backup. So for Alex Wilbur, I'm going to hit backup now. I'm going to go over to the task manager and see. Oh, actually, I don't even have to go there. It's going to be in my mailbox directly. I just need to hit refresh. Chicken vegetable biryani. So just like that, I had an important email come in. I hit the backup now. It just triggered, sent off that immediate backup, the on-demand backup, and just like that, it's there in my record now to be restored if I need it. So it works. It's lightning fast. The on-demands happen exactly when you ask for it. We don't delay. And restores also happen very quickly, as you saw. We can get into OneDrive and cover all the different areas later, but I just wanted to kind of cover the core aspects of the product today. And I hope this has helped you understand what we're offering and gets you excited about the product, as excited as we are. Thank you.
Fantastic. Very brave to do a live demo and audience participation. So thank you very much. And thanks to everyone. I see a ton of questions in there. We're going to give Krishna a couple minutes to go through that list. And at the end of the webinar, we'll do all our Q&A. And so with that, I'm going to move on to some other things we released throughout the month. And we'll talk about roadmap and before we move into our Q&A section. So next up, an update to Syncro Mobile, the mobile app. So we've added ticket worksheets to the mobile app. We improved some of the load times on ticket detail and the ticket comment UI. And so some new changes. As always, in most months, we try to get at least something out there in the mobile app. And so we've heard a lot of feedback on folks really wanting to take advantage of ticket worksheets. So now you can search, add a worksheet, fill it out, all those things right from Syncro Mobile. We've also did this month a lot of quality of life updates. We have, as you all know, really have a focus in on how can we do more from a quality of life perspective. And we've heard loud and clear that us even fixing seemingly small things and updating small things have a huge impact on your day to day. So a lot of work went into some of the tickets over the past month. And so the ability to edit your ticket subject inline right in the ticket details page, some changes to make it so the additional CC field on tickets is less clicks and it's just a smoother experience. We've added new filter options to that ticket page so you can filter by organization and end user. We added ticket tags to the export of CSV. So now when you export, you can actually get your ticket tags. We added a little back navigation link so you can go from ticket details right back to your view without needing to, click around. And once again, just reducing clicks. We also updated Ticket Worksheets. You've always been able to rename a ticket worksheet. It just was not obvious that you could rename a ticket worksheet. And so we made it really obvious in the UI that you can just rename a ticket worksheet. We've also done some things behind the scenes on reliability, making sure that recurring tickets are generating well. And we updated the start time on the labor log, so it now defaults to the page load time. So once again, we're going to keep, moving with improvements like this. But a bunch of things in the ticket arena. And then we also did a few cool enhancements in and around Microsoft 365 management. So number one, when you're doing a reset password, and this is, I think, this might be the only thing that we are talking about in releases and everything that is team plan. So I did flag it. So this is for folks that are using our Entra ID sync. And so if you are resetting a password, you can now set a custom password when resetting it instead of just having to kind of live with the default password. We also now include in your CSV export the Microsoft attributes that are populated. So your Microsoft licenses, your MFA status, your MFA methods, things like that, your last activity date, those will all get included in your CSV export. And then we also updated the Get Contact API. And so it also includes those Microsoft attributes. You can get things like Microsoft licenses and MFA status and everything through the API. We also made update to the reports so that driver updates are on vulnerable systems. We updated some of the downloads and the way we handle security groups there to just tighten that up a little bit as well. There's a lot more. There's a ton more in the release notes. I try to pick out the things that I think will resonate and are easy to talk through, but feel free to have a look, and there'll always be more to come in the quality of life arena here for us. And so with that, I'm going to hand it over to Kristen now to talk a little bit about some early access projects that we have in beta.
Thank you, Dee. Yeah, really exciting. We have a number of really good projects in early access. The first project that we have up is co-managed support permissions. This is a big one that we've heard from a lot of you that have co-managed clients. You want to be able to expand the number of permissions that you can give those co-managed users. And so what we have in early access today, you can sign up on the roadmap, and I think we'll put the link in the chat here, is that you can give your co-managed users access to assets, reports, and you can choose the specific reports if you want them to limit on only certain reports and on a number of additional scripting capabilities. There's a lot more permissions that we've actually included in this, but some of the big ones, these are some of the big areas, and we're so excited with the feedback that we've gotten so far and a lot of the improvements. And we have a number of pieces that we are continuing to do in this co-managed support. So this is a big improvement for any of you who have co-managed users. Directly alongside that, we also have entering early access later this month. So it's not in early access today, but will be in a couple of weeks, is script access by category. So now you're going to be able to control permissions around scripts by the specific category. So if you only want your technicians to run and be able to run scripts of a specific category, you can send it to user groups. This will also work in the co-managed permissions. We are really excited about this. We know how much you want to lock down scripting and the absolute power that you have to give your technicians today to give them access to all scripts. So we're working on enhancing the security around that and streamlining your workflows. So feel free to sign up for early access on that as well. And then the last one that we have in early access is our application updates. So we've updated our apps when you go into your third-party app management, that a more comprehensive default app catalog. This is going to give you more items that you use. We looked across the install base to pick the items that are the most common. And then also if you add any custom applications, you'll now be able to update if present, which I know has been a really big ask from the community and things that people have been really interested in, so that Syncro can actually manage any of those applications and you don't have to install them from scratch. This is hopefully going to be a really big deal when you take on a new client, or just as you have people that install applications on their local machines. So please sign up for early access for that.
This is going to be a banger month for early access. That's some serious stuff right there. All right.
Yeah. All right,
Uh,
Andy, over to you for Marketplace.
Yeah, going to talk a little bit about what's going on in our in Marketplace. First up, we recently released our phase 1 integration with ThreatDown, which talked about a little bit last month. It's an endpoint security product. It's been live for a few weeks now. Interest has remained extremely high for this one, so we're very excited about this one too. Name of the game with ThreatDown is just simplicity. Their portal's extremely easy to use and configure. Everything's easy to understand, and that translates right down into the way they separate their product SKUs. For instance, there's just one SKU that includes their core agent and EDR in full for one very low price without locking you into any minimums or time-based commitments that you have to otherwise meet. They also have NDR as an add-on, which is managed detection and response. It effectively gives you 24/7, 365 human-led monitoring and remediation of all your environments from a security perspective. It's effectively beefing up your security game into a 24/7 operation. Pricing for ThreatDown, it can be found right on the app card in the app center of your Syncro instance. For phase 1 of the integration, it includes provisioning for net new customers, migration support for if you're purchasing your licensing through another reseller and want to move that over to us. And then, of course, support for our new universal billing model, which allows ThreatDown license counts to automatically flow into your recurring invoices and then automatically adjust your customers' license counts all on its own. That one is very, very cool. And as Christian mentioned, we also recently added support for that with our 365 backups as well, which is super cool. Last piece on ThreatDown, because I know this is going to show up in the Q&A, it always does, is that ThreatDown is handling all levels of support for Syncro, and that includes Tier 1. In fact, you can even open and respond to tickets right inside of the ThreatDown portal directly. And just this morning, we officially released universal billing support for Acronis as well. Ever since we first announced this universal billing project, going all the way back to Proofpoint, Acronis has become far and away the most requested vendor we add support for next. So for everyone out there that struggles with accurately billing for backups, or we're talking to some people who went as far as moving over to subpar backup products just to work with a simpler billing model that was more conducive to how they wanted to bill their customers. I want to show you all how easy this has become with Syncro's universal billing. So give me just a second here, and I'm going to try to do a live demo here. So this is the Acronis app card. I've already have my account provisioned. And to enable universal billing, it's pretty simple. On any supported app card, you just click this little toggle. It's going to pop up a window that looks like this, and you're going to add a API credentials out of your Acronis instance. Once you've got that set, if you head over to our admin settings, we're going to have a customer mapper specific to the different vendors that we support. I've got my customers in Acronis cleverly named Customer 1 and Customer 2. And over on the right, you'll map them to existing Syncro customers. So I've got Customer 1 in Acronis mapped to this customer Apex, Beat, and Syncro. And once you have that, we've got a vendor usage report. This is a new report that we've got in our list of reports. This is effectively going to show you every single mapped customer who has at least one product that is mapped for universal billing. And if you look at Apex Beat, we actually have a few. We've got a little bit of usage with Acronis. We've got some with Proofpoint. We've got some with ThreatDown. This report is very customizable. So if you want to get super granular, you can. If I'm just like, hey, I just care to know what Apex Beat's using this month for Acronis usage, it's super easy to filter down to that level as well. This is a recurring invoice template, and this is effectively how you would add this storage in a dynamic fashion to your recurring invoices. So we've got a new type called vendor usage counter. We're going to say, great, we want to do it with Acronis. We've got this mapped. This lists all of the products that Acronis sells. For Acronis, there is a hell of a lot of them. For the workstation, you can see that we've got a count of 1. And then within Syncro, you should have all of your products in Syncro. This is what's getting mapped into your accounting buckets to like QuickBooks Online, Xero, QuickBooks Desktop. And so I've got my workstation license there. We're going to tell it that we're going to back up for all of our units. So we're not going to give them any freebies with their workstation licenses. We've got our stock cost of $3 in here. We're billing this customer $10 a piece. These prices are completely customizable within the contract section of Syncro, by the way. So if you want to have special pricing for one single customer, you don't have to mess around with your invoicing here. It'll just handle it at the contract level. Once we go ahead and add that to the template, you'll see it show up as a line item. So This is a type vendor usage counter. This is the workstation license description that we had. You can see that as of today, I have a quantity of 1. We're going to bill it out at $10. So if this invoice fired today, the customer is going to owe us $10. But I want to add their storage as well. So we're going to repeat the same process. Here we picked a different product. We're picking our hosted storage. We mapped it to our per workload cloud storage product that we have in Syncro. And in this case, I can bill for all units, but maybe with this customer's contract, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to include 25 gigabytes of storage. I'm only going to bill them for anything after that. Realistically, you're probably going to do that with a terabyte of storage or 10 terabytes of storage. It's completely customizable per recurring invoice, so it could really be whatever you wanted. We're currently paying 3 cents a gigabyte, and we're going to charge a customer 10 cents a gigabyte. So when we add that, we'll now have a second line item. And you can see here that we counted 44 gigabytes, but we said that we're going to give this customer 25 for free. So they're just going to get billed for 19 of those. So again, if we build this today, it's going to be $11.90. If this recurring invoice fires a week from now, this invoice will update every single day with new counts. And when it fires, it will always use the most recent count. So the idea here is that for all of your marketplace vendors, set it once and forget it. And the only time that you'll really ever need to adjust this is if you onboard a new customer. Obviously, you want to map them. Or if you decide that you're going to start using new SKUs within an existing vendor, you're obviously going to want to add those to your recurring invoices as well. Very, very powerful feature. We're really excited to start having this roll out to the bulk of our marketplace vendors. Next up, in development, since we just launched Acronis with Universal Billing, we've officially kicked off work on our next integration, which is going to be Iron Scales. For folks not familiar with Iron Scales, it's an email security vendor, quite similar to Proofpoint, but they use Microsoft APIs exclusively. And because of that, one of their claims to fame is the ability to onboard and protect a new customer within minutes. It's a pretty slick product, and they've been gaining some major traction in the market because of that ease of adoption. When we release Iron Scales later this year, it will support net new accounts being provisioned through Syncro. And for existing Iron Scales customers that may be buying your licenses elsewhere, want to migrate it to Syncro for that universal billing functionality. Then, of course, we're not going to be releasing any more marketplace vendors without support for universal billing. So Iron Scales is no different here. And then again, just like with ThreatDown, there are no minimums or time-based commitments to meet here. And all support, including Tier 1, will be handled by Iron Scales. We'll be releasing pricing probably in 4 to 6 weeks. We don't have that finalized yet, but that'll be available probably by the next release webinar. And then in terms of what's in the queue, we've got phase 2 of ThreatDown, which adds deployments through Syncro's asset policies, as well as ingesting alerts into Syncro's automated remediation system. Now, prior to phase 2 going live, we do have a deployment script for ThreatDown in our community script library that you can use in your assets policies, the setup script section of your asset policies today. So it's pretty easy to deploy the ThreatDown agent via asset policies in the meantime using that mechanic. Beyond that, we'll be adding universal billing support for the rest of our marketplace vendors, which are not yet supported, including Bitdefender, Webroot, and AutoElement. Okay, so that's everything on the marketplace front. I'm going to kick it over to Dee to talk about our roadmap.
Excellent. Thanks, Andy. Good stuff. All right, so I'll go through this relatively quickly because we do have a lot of questions, and I think most folks, one of their favorite parts of this whole thing is the Q&A part. So public roadmap, we have 3 sections now to the public roadmap. We have things that are in development, basically with our engineering team working on them. We have things that are in design, meaning we're finalizing designs and working through product and screens, and then we have early planning. And so some of you will hear from us as we're doing discovery on these things and pulling all our plans together. But let me start with things that we are working on right now. We've already talked about a few of these. Quality of life updates is a standing item. We are doing them every day, every week, every month. And then we've already talked about co-managed permissions, updating installed applications. Andy just talked about Iron Scales. From a Syncro mobile perspective, we are adding the ability to access the time clock so you can clock in or out, record your breaks. And then we're also in flight on our Linux agent. And so kind of phase 1, we'll deliver Linux in a couple of phases. So phase 1 of Linux, just a simple agent install, basic system information, online status, and then we'll kind of move from there. So those are things that are currently in development with our team. If we move into the InDesign part of the roadmap, Microsoft 365 license billing. And so this is something that's come up, I think, in a couple of questions. So on our roadmap, we're designing this out, as well as expanding our baselines to cover additional rules and policies. We are also designing the system to be able to more easily filter tickets in Syncro Mobile. So that way you can have a lot of the same flexibility you have in our web app in the mobile app to get at the tickets you want to get to and be able to sort and filter easily. A popular project we're working on and is in design right now is we're adding an ACH option to Stripe so that you will be able to, if you choose to use Stripe for ACH and credit card. We are also designing a lot of enhancements, and these will probably roll out over a series of projects that we'll nail down and tell you more about around enhancing parent and child tickets. We've had a lot of feedback on both the ability to create templates as well as to visualize them more fully. And so those are all things that we are kind of in design on and planning to work on, as well as phase 2 of the Linux agent. And if we move a little farther afield, things that we're in planning on, these are conversations we're having. They're things we are absolutely intending to do. Our team is actively thinking about them, working on them, learning. So the ability to support some level of project management to at least be able to easily track your progress against deadlines, exclude projects from your other ticket metrics. We're looking at the ability to easily and silently uninstall applications from systems. We're looking at streamlining the process and user experience for product bundles. So we've had a lot of comments on how we can make that process a lot easier. In terms of scripting and change logs, we're looking at a few things here. I think the most important is you're going to be able to see exactly who's doing what when. And so like we're going to have, a whole like much easier way for you to understand exactly what's being run, who ran it, was it run automated or by a human, when did it run, when were things updated. And so you'll see a bunch of enhancements coming to just give you a lot more transparency and visibility into scripts. Reporting, there is a lot of work and thought going into reporting. Once again, it's likely this will break into a few different projects that will deliver kind of as soon as they're ready. And that would likely look like some quick hits to give you some data that you're looking for, make some enhancements to some existing reports, looking at adding templates for you, and then looking at refreshing our reporting platform in the long term as well. We're also looking at chat enhancements around usability as well as reliability and looking to enhance our Mac agent. So that is the roadmap in a lightning round with an effort to leave some room for Q&A. And actually, I'm sorry, I forgot a whole other section. Super quick.
We'll be fast.
Kristen to talk about community.
Yeah, very quick, just on a note on that. And we have been having power hours every other week. Come join the conversation on it. Our next power hour is on October 17th with Jasper. Jasper did an awesome power hour a couple ago about using GitHub to store your scripts and versioning, and it was fantastic. Highly recommend you listen to it. And this one I know is going to be no different. So please come hang out, check it out with us. And then our last power hour recording, The Efficient Help Desk with Lindsay Justo and Mike Peronich. Check that out. It was fantastic. There was tons of good conversation and just a lot to learn around ticketing, ticket views, ticket workflows, automations. You'll get a lot out of those pieces, and would love to hear your feedback on things that you'd like to see from us in the future in these sessions. And now over to Jess for a new segment.
Hi, it's nice to see everyone. It's Jess. You might know me as the community manager. It's really lovely to see some of your names popping up in this chat. I'm super glad you're here. Wanted to take a quick moment to give a huge shout out to our top community contributor for Q3, Des. I think I saw your name in here. Thank you for your consistent engagement, your thoughtful insights, and your just willingness to help others has made such a positive impact on our community. You've set the bar really high for what it means to be a collaborative and supportive member. And from all of us, we are very grateful for everything that you have to share with the group. So let's just give Des a quick round of applause. And also, while we're here celebrating great community moments, I'm also excited to highlight our first ever community member spotlight. It's now live in this month's newsletter. Maybe Caitlin can drop it in the chat again, but It's a great little read that dives into one of our partners' journeys, how they got started with the MSP space, and you might get a good laugh out of it as well. So definitely worth checking out. And this month's member we're spotlighting is Bill. But yeah, we're super proud of all the amazing discussions and peer support happening every day in our community. If you haven't joined yet, we'd love for you to be part of it. So come learn, connect, and grow alongside other partners and Team Syncro. But yeah, that's all for me. I'll pass it back to Dee and team for the Q&A.
Thanks, Jess. And I just want to say, Bill, I just saw that picture of you the other day with you in the mug, and one of the new Synchro mugs, and I'm not jealous at all. That was that's the first one I've seen, so it's super cool.
Very fun. Yes. Thanks to both of you for being great community members. Really appreciate it. So let's move into Q&A. I think I'll kick us off with a couple of high-level questions that came in on backup, and then it's likely the four of us will just kind of round robin through these questions in order that they came in and just get through as many as we can. So the first two, one is really just on what are we backing up? Are we backing up, Chromebooks, and are we thinking about Google? And so we today are backing up Microsoft 365 and Entra ID. We do not have right now plans to move beyond that on our near-term roadmap. And so the focus of backup today, like I said, Microsoft 365 and Entra ID. And then the other set of questions, and I got a few of these in a bunch of different ways, asking who did we OEM and is this our product? And so I did want to confirm with all of you that this is our tech. So we own the tech. It's not an OEM. We have a dedicated team that's working on this and building it. And we have some great people, especially people that have experience in the space, like Krishna, who you met. And so I just wanted to confirm with folks that that's it's our product that we're kind of busy working on behind the scenes here. And so those are, I think, the first two that came in.
I had a couple on backups on the security side of things, a bit of, do you want all of your eggs in one basket, especially for backup? Do you want us, and some concerns maybe around the fact that we are keeping the data in Azure. And so I quickly wanted to comment on that, is that these are separate infrastructure pieces from our Syncro infrastructure in Azure. We spun these up specifically so that the storage would be separate. Yes, they are technically under the same major cloud provider, but that does not mean that it's in the same data center as your actual mail or any of the information there. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it's in the same availability zone, even if it is in the same region in general. There are a ton of these different ways that the major cloud providers segment their data. And because it is a separate tenant in a completely separate segmented Microsoft environment, it still does meet all of the areas of compliance and security concern. And the reason that we picked Azure, one, is to keep your data really secure. And if Microsoft is going to have a major outage, there's not a ton of pieces that you would be able to do, even if you had your backup in a different cloud. So we specifically chose Azure. That was one of the big areas that we did. We looked at the security. We have the infrastructure set up so that it is very secure, very reliable, and it meets all the compliance needs. Then there was also a question around HIPAA. Yes, we do this today, signing a BAA. It's in the App Center if you wanted to check it out, of something that we can, and we're happy to answer any questions on any of those. And this is included in our compliance as well, and will be have a specific section in future compliance reports that we do.
Yeah, I have a few questions on basically on retention policy. We mentioned unlimited, there's no data limit, it's unlimited storage, but like, what about the retention policy? And yes, our retention policy is unlimited as well. So if a user is removed, the license is removed, or the user is deleted out of the tenant, we still hold on to their data indefinitely. We do not purge that once the license is lost, and we're not backing it up anymore. Let's see, I also had some questions about the audit log, restore log. Yeah, so let me actually, if you don't mind, I'll share my screen real quick because I didn't really touch on it too well. Actually, I have two questions that I'll touch on in this little demo area. So actually, the first is the Someone asked about seeing point in time, and if you can see the versions because people don't know when they deleted something. That's a great question. So my files, if I click on a file in OneDrive, it actually just shows me like what the latest revision is. And had this file had multiple revisions, I would see all the different revisions here. So you don't have to go hunting around for them. And then for folders, you then have the option of doing the calendar search and the calendar option to like pick a date that you want to restore this folder to, since it has so many different files inside, which can have different times or different revision dates. You can just pick the overall date that you want to restore the folder from, and you get it back on that date. So there's your file and your folders. And then for audit log, it does show the actor or the person who made all of the changes. So here is my Syncro account, and it shows everything that I did today during the demo, even just accessing things and like what I clicked into. So you can even see what someone is looking at. Someone also asked about e-discovery. We do not support that at this time. And the converse of not supporting it is it's also a security feature right now that all you can see is the folder name and subject. You can't actually read email. So some people are concerned about someone looking and reading the CEO's email or something like that. You cannot do that. You can't access it. But you can even see whoever is going into mailboxes and like what they're clicking on here. And this cannot be changed. And I believe there was a question about the task manager. Just highlighting again that it tracks like restore events and allows you to see if they are in progress. If it's a large restore, you can see there will be like a little progress bar showing how the restore is working. I'm gonna hand it back over. If anybody else want to have questions, I'm gonna scroll down my list looking for more questions that I need to
Sounds
answer.
great. I can pick one up. So question about not about backup, but about Microsoft licenses and the ability to invoice for Microsoft licenses. So that is in design right now, and I expect that to move kind of into development. And so it is a project that is on our horizon. More updates on timing. As you all know, I hate to overcommit and give you a time when I'm not confident. And so more to come next month, and hopefully I'll have more details to share then. But it is absolutely kind of moving up the stack and is finalizing its design phase and getting ready to move into we're working on it.
All right, there was a couple questions around co-managed. First was, do co-managed contacts need to be paid Syncro users? Yes, if you wanted to give them access as a user in that co-managed to give them access to doing scripting, you can give them access to all of their assets, anything kind of within that organization that you want to limit them to. So yes, they are a paid Syncro user. And then around the category, will co-managed users be able to be set to only see their category? Yes, that is the way that we have built it today. So you can limit co-managed users specifically to see, and it follows the current scripting permissions. So they can either add, see, run. You can limit that permission pretty granularly, which I think will help. And so now instead of just giving access to scripting in general, you'll be able to give the specific access, that same scripting access just on the category. So you can make that decision kind of on how you want to see that fit.
Got a few questions on how are users counted and billed, and how much does it cost for backup. So I'm going to go ahead and put a link to an article that says it or displays it much more clearly, but I'm going to still answer the question anyways. So it is $1.90 per user per month, and the users that we count on the product are licensed users. So if they are internal, external, or shared mailboxes and they have a license, we consider those billable users. On the converse of that is also true. If they don't have a license, if the shared mailbox doesn't have a license, which most people don't really license their shared mailboxes, so up to 50 gigabytes is fine, and they don't want the larger one or the in-place archive, we do not charge for that. And if a user was licensed and gets that license removed, we stop charging for it after that month that they are no longer licensed. As far as counting users, I believe somebody asked about how does it count users once you set the backup up, or is it turned on customer by customer? I believe that question is like when you enable backup. So when you turn on the trial or you turn on the subscription, we're not charging you for anything yet. As you go and enable backup for a tenant and you select all the users that you want backed up for that tenant, that's when it begins charging for the backed up users on that tenant. And we track that. We use high watermark. So whatever the maximum number of users that were being backed up during the 1 month period that we're looking at, we charge for that high watermark number. And then every month it resets, and we look at the highest number of users that were being backed up during that period. And then, for more information on the fair use policy, pricing, or how we're counting them, in case anything I said was not clear, please take a look at the article that is in the chat.
Got a couple here, marketplace questions. One's about universal billing. Does it bill based on usage as of the next run date, or does it bill based on usage from the close of the last month? Basically, it's always going to bill within the count within 24 hours of when the recurring invoice fires. And we do that because as you guys know, every marketplace vendor tends to have like a snapshot. I think Proofpoint's like on the 19th of the month. Acronis is the last day of the month. They all handle it differently. So normally most folks are going to be billing on the 1st. So it would effectively be the max usage from the previous month. So that's how that's handled. Will the M365 billing support annual billing? I would say TBD. You could do it by creating an annual invoice. Like you could just have a recurring invoice that fires every 12 months instead of every month if you wanted to. But then I would think you'd probably have to handle all of the ones that you add in between there. So possibly, I think yeah. Right, Dee, do you have anything you want to add to that? I feel like
No, I think that's right. I mean, the intention would be to have it billed out monthly, and then if you really felt strongly on annual, then you'd need to figure out how you deal with the kind of coterminous aspects of having users peeling off or on throughout the year.
Yeah, in my opinion, it's always beneficial just to do everything monthly. Then you don't have to deal with reallocating licenses every time an employee comes, an employee goes, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Miles is asking if we have pricing per mailbox for iron scales yet. We don't. We'll have that we do, but we'll be able to announce it in about a month. I will say that it will be either right in line or slightly below what you guys see at your reseller today. So yeah, we don't really mark anything up above what you're going to see in this space. I think that's everything on my end.
All right, I'll grab one. Is there going to be an expansion on merchant services, especially for ACH? And so the answer is yes. On our roadmap, we have Stripe ACH as a project we intend to pick up to give you some choices.
There's a question around, can we have the password change set so it doesn't force the user to change? I don't know that one off the top of my head on if that's something we can do through the Graph API, the way we integrate it today. So I'm gonna, Craig, thanks for the question. I'm gonna do some digging and see if that's something that Microsoft allows, and we will think about if there's a good way to build that in, especially if you're setting the password. I think from a security perspective, it is a much safer way to force them to change the password. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's something that Microsoft requires. And I would highly recommend that you force them to change the password after you set it. But I'll do some research and see if there's anything we can learn there.
And Christian or Kristen, I don't know who's best to answer this, but I kind of want to know the answer too. Does your backup cover OneDrive even if the user doesn't have a mailbox? Some other products have that requirement.
To my knowledge, yes. I don't believe we check we look at the licensing as whether or not it's eligible, and then we just back up or for whether it's billable, but we're backing up everything that's associated with the user.
Cool.
That's my understanding also, Krishna. We will.
I haven't tested that use case, but I need to
Yeah,
go.
Joel,
Maybe
we'll
check
test
it.
that. We'll test that, but
I'll let you know, Joel.
it should work correctly. That should
Yeah.
work.
And Stuart asked the question that I have another M365 backup service and currently found that only the restore volumes only go back to the date it was installed and not the entire mailbox. I just want to ensure that all items in mailboxes, etc., will be seeded on initial backup. I'm going to answer this question honestly, and that with the example that I showed, I had emails in that mailbox that were from August and June because it's a Microsoft demo tenant, right? So I created the demo tenant a while ago, and it like pre-populates emails in the past. All of that data was included in the backup, even though I started the backup sometime in September. I think the point of contention there might be the point in time restore, the ability to go back and restore the folder from a particular date. I believe that keys off from the date that you initiated backup because we don't know what the point in time looked like prior to you starting the backup. So do we collect all the emails that are in the mailbox regardless of what date that they were sent or received? Yes. Does the point in time go prior to the start date? No, the point in time begins. We start doing the differential backups at the day that we start. That's when we start knowing, and we can be able to go back to the point in time. But that starts the day you start backing up. I hope I answered your question.
Great. Hey, I want to just say thank you to everyone for taking time with us today. We are just about at the top of the hour. I want to be really cognizant of everyone's time. We will record this. We'll post the recording in community and make it available. If you have questions, still feel free to go to community and ask them, and we will do our very best to answer them. Really appreciate your time, and more to come. Hopefully we see you all again next month. Thank you.
See you next month,
Thank
everybody.
you all.